Hello, everybody. How are you all tonight? So good to see you all here. Thanks, Jennifer. Thank you so much for inviting Chris. It would be nice to have him here. Hey, Rosewood. Hi, Mary. How are you? Hey, Boston Christian. How are you doing? Good to see you. Hey, Just Pam. Hey, Mrs. Thang. How are you doing? Hi, John. Hey, Barbara. Welcome, Jack. Hey, Salty Beach. Welcome. Yes, let today be the day. Most certainly. I don't know why my I don't know what's going on with my monitor, you guys. I know I look pale as ever. I don't know why. I'm really sorry about that, but I don't know what's going on with it, why it's doing that. So I'm gonna have to figure out my lighting, I think, because it's really weird how it's so bright on my face. Hey Judy, welcome. Welcome. Seeing a lot of new names. Hey, Digital. How are you doing? Good to have you with us. Hey, Serendipity. Hey, Maria. Hugs, my dear. Welcome. I love having you here. I'm so glad you're with us. Hey, Michelle. How are you doing, my dear? You two are something. You guys are besties who fight like cats and dogs. I'm just kidding. So good to see everybody. Hey, Barbara. How are you? Hi, Tech Death. Your music always wakes me up. I love your music. It always puts me in the mood for my live stream. What have you guys been up to since the last time we chatted? I am feeling better. Thank you for asking. The only thing that happened, my pain is like really better. But the only thing that's going on now is that I broke out in hives. So I'm dealing with that. I have all over hives. It's it's always something, right? Hey, Nana Anna. I love your name. Welcome. Hi, Daisy. Good to see you. Always nice to have you with us. Hey, Allie. How are you? It's okay. It's okay. You take care of that baby first. Oh, Barbara, you are so nice. Thank you so much. Yeah. But yeah, we're going to have a good live tonight, I think. I know. I feel like I've given a lot of blood, Jennifer, in the last week. I had so many blood draws and pokes. I'm glad that stuff is all done. Oh, it's terrible, Mrs. Thang. It is terrible. It's terrible. Oh, there's nothing like fresh green beans from the garden. That's for sure. So I got a lot of stuff to go over with us tonight. Hang on a second. I just want to make sure that I've got everything in order that I want to look at real quick here. I want to get that off of there. And Get that off of there. Okay. So, lots of things, lots and lots of things. Hey, Heaven 57, how are you? Welcome. Oh, Barbara, that's terrible. Yeah, those pokes. I remember those days of having that happen. It happens. Oh, Pam, that's nice. I always have to rush dinner on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, trying to get dinner done before the live, but it works out. I have so many people that I like to watch, and a lot of us all go live at the same time. So I have to watch a lot of stuff on replay because I'm just like, I like your vampires. Are you kidding? I'm a Halloween baby. I do like your vampires. I think they're adorable. Yeah. Well, I'm kind of interested. I'm going to say this right off the bat. I'm kind of interested as to what is going on in the Wabash search, you guys. I heard today that they're actually searching on land now. They're not just in the water. So I'm like, what's going on? What is going on, you guys? You know, I mean, it's been 3 weeks now. Just crazy. I really hope that they are able to find what it is that they're looking for. And as for TV vampires, I will say this, there's just something about vampires that they've always lately, I guess, within the last 15 years or so, they've kind of made them I want to say they've sexualized them. They've made them pretty and handsome and all of that. So, yeah. It's a whole different ball game from when Bela Lugosi was playing Dracula. But yeah. I like anything vampire, anything witches. I love the books. I love the movies. I'm crazy. So, hey, Polygraph, how are you? Welcome. But yeah, I was just really wondering about that. I was like, well, they're out there now, searching on land. So they're making it thorough. They're looking and they're covering everything. And Maria's right. She's definitely right. With any of the past flooding, they could have pushed something up, maybe. They could have thrown something and thought it went in the river and missed. I mean, there's just all kinds of reasons, but yeah. So oh yeah, True Blood was my jam. I loved True Blood. I was so sad when True Blood went away. But I just hope that they continue to move forward and figure out what it is that they're looking for, and figure out what it is that they found. That is crazy to me, that they've got wood choppers out there chopping up wood, trying to get the wood out of the way. Gosh, I just craziness, we're going to have to do October's fast approaching, right? We've got October coming here in just a couple of weeks, and busy month for me and my family. There's like, let's see, 1, 9 birthdays in October in my family. So, I mean, it's a really busy month. So, and it's my favorite month. It always has been my favorite month because Halloween is my favorite holiday. And since it's also my birthday, I just look forward to the decorations, and I always decorate for Halloween. I have a Halloween tree that's made out of metal that sits in my hallway. And it's only about 3 feet tall, 2.5, 3 feet tall, but it's all metal, and it has Halloween decorations on it. And it's right now it's all decorated for The Nightmare Before Christmas. And because that's one of my absolute favorite movies. And I have all how those decorations are on that tree, but I do change the decorations on the tree over the year. But I've left it up for a while now, and it's fun. My grandkids love it, and you know, I I just like to see the kids' costumes and the kids' faces. And before I lost my mom a couple years ago, she always dressed up with me on my birthday, even as an adult. I mean, we would go as bag ladies. I mean, it was so funny. We just always did that together. And yeah, I just, like I said, I love Halloween. So um let's let's get into this. Oh, my nose. Itches. Okay, guys. So let's talk about Delphi and the hunt for a killer. Because you know what? They are hunting a killer. And I believe that the hunt is on strong. Oh, Dark Shadows. Yeah. Judy, that Dark Shadows was one of my favorites. I used to come home from school and watch Dark Shadows. Love Dark Shadows. Okay, let's see. I don't know about you guys, but one of the things I've been listening to some different podcasts, and I've been writing a whole bunch of stuff down from some of them. And one of the things that I realized going back through the KAK and Kline documents that we all have seen, I cannot believe how many social media accounts KAK and Kline had. I mean, I've been on social media probably, I don't remember when I went on for sure, maybe 1997, maybe, when I got on social media the first time. And it was IRC chat, I think, is what I started on social media with. It was weird. My daughter told me to try it, and it was fun, and that was what got me into it. But I'm looking at this person, and I'm looking at all of the Instagram accounts, all of these accounts. Let me count them because you guys want to know. He had 17 different social media accounts. 17. He had 4 different Instagram accounts, 2 Kik accounts, a Meet Me account, a MySpace account, a Pinterest account. He had 2 Poshmark accounts, which is weird to me, kind of. He had 5 Skype accounts, only 1 Facebook, which is beyond belief with him having all the other stuff. And I'm like, he had a Meet Me account. We don't know what the Yellow or the Yubo account is because we don't know. But I'm like, wow, who does that? Who can manage that kind of social media, guys? I'm like, you would need a secretary to keep track of it all. I'm like, I have trouble managing. Yes, he also had TikTok. Yes, he also had TikTok. And he also had music accounts. There's he had Spotify, a couple Spotify accounts, and one thing I was thinking is don't go to his Spotify account because I think he gets money if you go listen to his music. So don't do that. Don't give him any money. That was my feeling on that. But I was looking at the Poshmark accounts because I have a Poshmark account. I've sold on Poshmark for years. And I went in and looked at one of the closets. It was under Kline 420, and he's got his dad's face on that one. So my thought was, is it Tony? Is it Tony that's got these accounts? Is it Kagan? I mean, is it both of them? And John's right. He was in his room 24/7. So I guess he had plenty of time to just sit there and do all this. But man, you guys, I'm sorry. It's just crazy to me, you know? Hey, Chris from the MOB crew. Welcome to Behind the Crime Door. It is so good to see you. Hey, Crime Geek. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming. You know what? I just don't know how somebody manages that much social media. That just, to me, I mean, who can handle 5 Skype accounts? And why do you have 5 Skype accounts, you know? So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, he's got an Anthony Schott Skype account. He's got a Kline 765. He's got a Kline 45, a Kline 420, and just a Kline. And I'm just like, there's just something about this that makes me wonder if Tony really wasn't using his son's name on some of this stuff. Because I don't remember what they said was Tony's birth date, but a 765 reminds me of a July 65 birth date. That would make sense. And one with the number 45 behind it could be an age. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, something, we all know what 420 is. We all know probably what that represents for Kagan because he was so busy, you know, selling marijuana, right? He had this huge marijuana business. It's what sent him out to Las Vegas, remember? Right. I just yeah, I don't know. But he did tell law enforcement in the interrogation that he used his Meet Me the most to meet girls online. And I don't believe that. He only had one Meet Me account. He had 4 Instagram accounts. He had all these Skype accounts, plus he had 4 different Snapchat accounts as well. So yeah, crazy, you guys. I just wanted to bring that up. Hey, Danger Dave, welcome. So glad to see you. On December 20th of 2016, Kagan liked Libby's photo on Instagram. And that has always, I'm like, is that when he became aware of her? How did he become aware of her? Because he talks in the interrogation documents about, yeah, he talked to her for a while in early, like a few times early in February, but she annoyed him to the point he blocked her. And I'm like, how long did they talk? When did Anthony Schatz actually connect with Libby? Because what we've been told is that it happened at a sleepover, that one of her friends was already talking to him and put her in contact with him. But that doesn't make sense if he was liking photos of her back in December of 2016. So I really think that there may have been much more between the two of them, possibly, as far as conversations that we're not aware of or privy to. I just thought that was interesting when I went back and looked at that fact. There was a post made on February 26th, 2017, and it was made on Facebook. It's a Facebook post. And the person said, "I'm weirded out. This is probably just a sign that I'm paying too much attention to this case. But I went to Liberty's Instagram account yesterday and noticed that a really strikingly attractive teenager had liked a couple of her photos and her posts. I back searched his profile photo, and it was of an old photo of a male model, and he's not a real person, as he was claiming to be. He claimed to have just moved to Lafayette. His profile was private and a typical phishing profile, but he only had 50 followers. Today, the likes from him are gone, and either his name has changed or he deleted his profile. I'm not sure the FBI has read all of their social, or I'm sure that the FBI has read all of their social networking interactions, but I really wish I would have saved his profile name or emailed it to the sheriff or something." That was posted one day after the raid at the Kline residence. So that was posted on Facebook on February 26th, 2017. Interesting, right? I thought that was pretty interesting. So he also, I started to tell you guys, so he had the Snapchat accounts. He had 2 different Twitter accounts. He had a Venmo account that he sent Libby money on. And he had a YouTube account that he created in March 27th of 2011 when he was 16 years old. And it was DJ Keggy. And that was one of his what am I trying to say? Sorry, you guys. That was one of his nicknames, was Keggy. And we don't know why he sent Libby money. Nobody knows. We just know that he did, because it's in that document. Kagan deleted his main iPhone 5C search history from February 10th to the 15th, 2017. Yeah, Maria, I remember that you did that. I do remember that. When I was writing this stuff down, I remembered that you had included that. It's so interesting to go back and look at this stuff now. Yeah, it was spelled DJ Keggy. That's right, Michelle. He was also searching, as we've talked before, about the Delphi murders before and during his February 21st through the 25th Las Vegas vacation. He looked up a number of different articles. He looked up tips pouring in after suspect identified in the Delphi double homicide. That was an article in the newspaper. New details to be released in the Delphi killings. He also looked up the audio clip numerous times. He looked up so many different search terms for all different kinds of things like 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, girls' stomachs, bestiality. I mean, it was just some really horrific things that he was searching for while he was on this quote unquote vacay. He looked up the murder of John Benet Ramsey. He looked up things about O.J. Simpson. He looked up photos of Sandy Hook, of the children in Sandy Hook. He also looked up how long DNA lasts. Sure, Crime Geek. What's your question, my dear? Go right ahead. Why is Julie Melvin friends with Anthony Greeno when she even said herself, someone said someone on the trail bridge looked like Anthony Greeno when shown a photo of him? I don't know. I don't understand that. And I haven't been able to talk to Julie yet. I'm in the process of getting that arranged because I do want to speak to her about some things that I have heard her say recently on other live streams. So I do have some questions, and I'll put that question to her as well. I'm pretty sure that probably she would be trying to get information out of him, even if someone said that about him. I would think that she was probably trying to get information. So from him, but we all know that he doesn't tell the truth. So, there's no way that you can believe what he says anymore. It's just heartbreaking, that so many people believed him for so long about things. Yeah, I did. I saw that show, Crime Geek. I did. And I do want, like I said, I do want to talk to her. I don't understand what that's all about, but I will try to get to the bottom of it and figure out why. Let's see. So those were some of the things about what he was looking up while he was in Vegas. He also looked up to see if law enforcement can trace IP addresses from social media. And I thought that was interesting, especially given what we know about Country Club Road. He also wanted to know and looked up server information to see how much information servers got how much personal information got stored on servers. So let's see. On February 19th, the day before the ski mask incident, he searched Facebook for the names of family members of Ski Mask Girl. So he was doing a lot. He was doing a lot of things back then in 2017. We now know from the murder sheet dropping saying that allegedly he searched the Marathon gas station in Delphi, Indiana on the day the girls went missing, and the day of the murders, which, if that's true, to me, that's a huge red flag. He would have to answer to that, what for and why. And I find it bizarre that was not asked of him in the first interrogation. I also find it bizarre that it wasn't asked of him back in 2017. So my question about that information, if it's allegedly true, is that something that they just learned? Is that something that law enforcement has just recently learned? That he allegedly searched the Marathon gas station the day of the murders. Kagan Kline has a wiki page, a Wikipedia page. Probably made it himself, but I'm here to tell you he has a Wikipedia page. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. So there is on August 26th of 2018, Kagan on a Facebook photo shows himself standing in front of a red Jeep taking a photo of a coming soon movie poster, and another photo inside the Jeep from the driver's seat. Now, there's been a lot of speculation on whether or not Kagan actually drives or has a driver's license. And I'm like, I've heard so many different things about this. Yes, he drove. There's the thing out there that he suffers from epilepsy and has seizures, and he can't drive because of that. Well, just because you have epilepsy doesn't mean you can't drive. It means you shouldn't. That doesn't mean you can't. And he actually tells the police during the interrogation in August of 2020, I don't have my license. He comes right out and tells them, I don't have my driver's license. And then he turns right around and says that he was currently driving a 1998 Grand Am. So yeah, it doesn't make him sound like he's very, either very intelligent or I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Hey, Double Rainbows, welcome. So glad to see you. So anyway, there was a high school friend that came out of Kagan's that said I think this is the one that was interviewed by the Murder Sheet, if I'm not mistaken, but he said, no, he didn't have a driver's license because it's not because he was sick or because of he had a medical condition. He said it was because he was too lazy and he was always able to get rides from people. He said he saw him have a random seizure once, but never saw it again. Now, I don't know how close this friend is to him or anything, but that, so take that with a grain of salt. But this person said, it was just Keegan's way of getting rides. And that's what he did. He just did that. And I'm like, wow, that to me says a lot as well. So everybody's saying, well, he didn't drive, so he wouldn't be here or there. I don't think we can go with that. He told the police that he drove. He told them in the interrogation. So I never bought it either, John. I just never did. Hey, Steve, how are you? And Mrs. Steve, welcome. It's so good to see you guys. I bet you do, Crime Geek. I bet you know exactly how that sounds like someone else. Oh, hey, Gonzo. How are you, my adventurous friend? I'm so glad to see you. Welcome. He did a tweet on January 25th of 2017. So just before a few weeks before the murders, he made a tweet thanking President Trump for the impact that he's made on his stocks. Love my president. Kagan had stocks. He didn't have a job. Where was he getting his stocks from? I'm really curious about that one. So, He liked a tweet on January 28th, 2017, and he didn't like another tweet until September 4th of 2017, you guys. So he tweeted before and after the murders all the time. He was constantly tweeting, and then he stopped. He tweeted before and after the murders, including the day of, the day the girls were found, excuse me. But the tweets were linked to his Facebook account. So when you go look at those tweets and try to follow them, they go nowhere because his Facebook account is no longer active. And I believe when he was arrested, law enforcement closed that Facebook down. I don't know why the Instagram account is still up because people ask me that all the time. Hey, Zooter, how are you? Good to see you. Hey, Kathleen Harris. Good to have you here. Hey, USA Libertarian. Good to see you. Dog Defender. Good to see you. This guy lived in a complete fantasy world. There's just no getting around it. His whole life was just a fantasy. I mean, it just is, because everything he wrote about on social media, all the stuff he said wasn't true. None of it. It was just insane. The day after the murders, we have February 15th, 2017. He tweets, "What is going on in our world?" I think that is really interesting. That, to me, was a very interesting tweet. On February 9th, 2017, he tweeted, "I hope you are okay, Sam." Don't know who Sam is. He didn't stop posting on Twitter after the murders. He posted 2 days after his house was raided on February 27th of 2017. May 26th of 2017, he posted that he was eating dinner with his love at the Nobu restaurant. Now, Nobu is a restaurant, for those of you who are not familiar, it is a very posh, very upscale restaurant. There's one in Las Vegas, but there's also one in Calabasas, California, which is where he said he worked for a bail bonds company, if you guys remember that. And Calabasas is also where the Kardashians live, and they go to Nobu all the time on their show to eat, and it is extremely posh. I mean, this place is very upscale, very expensive, and I thought it was just interesting that he posted that it was just, I'm just like, so I just, what happened? Hang on a second. So anyway, let's see. He, his Facebook account, he first posted on June the 9th of 2012, and he last posted on it on February 21st, 2020. And one of the things that I did, I was able to look up, oh, John, I didn't know that. So yeah, then there's one in New York. That makes sense too, because it is a very posh restaurant. There's been a lot of talk in my channel over the last month or so about whether or not Kagan talked to Libby the day of the murders. What time did he talk to her? How did he talk to her? And I just wanted to let you guys know that I was able to figure out and find out from the transcript The detective tells him in the transcript, you were talking to her up to the day and right before she went missing. And then he shows info where two of his devices are logging in and out of the same Snapchat account number. And they say, see these numbers here? See this? In and out. So in other words, one account was logging in on one device, which was logging the other account out. Because if you know, some of these software programs won't allow you to be logged in twice. Discord is that way. If you are logged in on one device and you try to log in on another, it's going to log you out where you were logged in before. So what they were trying to get to with him at this point was, why are there two devices trying to log in to the Snapchat account number? Why would you be doing that? Why would that be just one person doing that? Because they were trying to let him know then, we know that there were two people using that Snapchat that day, logging in and out, in and out. And I thought that was very interesting. And so, yeah, I know, John, Discord, your favorite thing, right? I want to talk about this, but I wanted to go back over something. Hold on a second. So in the interrogation, they do not talk about the time, but they do say that he was talking to her up until the day and right before she went missing. And he told them then, I spoke to her in early February once or twice. She started annoying me and I blocked her. So when did he unblock her? And why did he unblock her if he was talking to her the day of the murders? Those questions are all very important ones on where and what Keegan was doing that day and why. So I went back over some of my notebooks the last couple of days, and I went back and actually I went to my Delphi Daughters subreddit, and I was looking at some of my wiki page that had all of the old interviews with all of law enforcement, because I have them all there. Hey, Chris, thank you so very much for your super sticker. That's so nice of you. Thank you for your support. It means a lot. And I looked at the Robert Ives interview. And I wrote this down because I wanted you guys to know this is really important. This is so important. Robert Ives says the murder scene was actually odd. Now, when I say that all murder scenes are odd, that's what I mean. He said the murder scene was actually odd, but all murder scenes are actually odd. People do not kill people all that often in Carroll County. And this crime scene, there is a lot of unique evidence and facts there. He said unique evidence. Honestly, I'm shocked, and the police are shocked that it wasn't solved in a day or two, because we are just not used to, well, in rural Indiana, when a person A murders person B, it is obvious who the suspect is, and usually it is quite obvious how to prove who committed the crime. This crime scene is physically strange, very strange. But that's for the state police to decide what to release and not to release. I've said before, it is very odd. And I'm sitting here going, Robert Ives is something else, and he always speaks in code, and I am going to reach out and see if I can get that man to talk to me, because I have so many questions for him, and he probably won't, but I'm going to try. I am going to try to reach out to him and see if I can put forth some questions for him regarding some of what he's tried to say, and see if he will say something along the lines of how he feels the case is going now. Maybe he'll speak to that now. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see if he'll speak to me. I'm just this little tiny pebble in this huge true crime world, but we'll try. I will certainly try. But I did think that was interesting. Allie from Unsolved Crime is doing a live stream to Saturday night with Steve from True Crime Web. Please, everybody, make sure you put that on your calendar to go watch. I think she'll be on an hour after I start. So I think that's what she told me. And make sure that you guys put that on your calendar, because they're going to go over a couple of cases that are so important. And I wanted to get that thrown out there. I have that in my notes to make sure that I told you guys about it. I had Steve with True Crime Web on just a couple weeks ago, and he's amazing. What he's doing for the missing children in this country, I just can't say enough about him. So just make sure you guys put that down so that you can watch. So I had a lot of questions this week about, isn't he though, Chris? I think he's awesome. Like I said, I can't say enough about him. Oh, Jill, thank you so much. I'm glad you love it here. I really am. And we try to keep this in a really uplifting type of space where you can come and talk and discuss and feel safe without being attacked. I don't allow drama in my channel. So yeah, I have really, really good moderators. Everybody here is really respectful. So yeah, I'm really glad to hear that you like it here. And the Mob Crew, that channel's amazing. Chris has done so much just in the last couple of months. I think he's grown by 10,000 subscribers. It's just incredible the work he's doing and the boots on the ground stuff that he's been doing for the cases that are close to him. I'm just amazed at what he's done. So please make sure that you guys go over and check out his channel. If you haven't, I'm sure you guys already do know, because he's much bigger than I am. So, but yeah, please make sure that you share his channel, because he's worth watching. John, thank you so much for your super chat. I so appreciate you. Thank you. You are awesome. Okay, so going on, what I started to say before I started to do all the plugs was that I had an email this week about somebody asked me if I would go back over some of the stuff that I did when we were talking about serial killers and some of the stuff that the FBI has put out about serial killers. And so I thought I would give a quick synopsis tonight to bring people back up to snuff on what is going on with this information that's out there that the FBI has put out, where you can actually see kind of how their behavioral analyst unit works and what they look for when they're looking at serial killers. And let's see. So what does behavioral analyst unit mean? Well, what they do is they gather information and data, and they gather that information from violent crime, nationally and globally, and they help to track and apprehend and predict serial offenders. Not an easy task. There's a lot that goes into that. A lot of information has to be gathered and a lot of data. Hey, CJK, welcome. Hi, Four. How are you? And so, they identify suspects by their demographics, and it informs a probability of offenders' behavior. So I think it's really interesting when we talk about Delphi and Flora, and the fires that are out of control in the 6-county area around Carroll County. You have to remember that the population of Carroll County is 20,000. Okay. Total population is 20,000. And Allie, tell me if I'm wrong, but what is the percentage of child deaths, female deaths in fire in the 6-county area? What's that percentage? I could not grab that information. If you're out there, I want that information. Because based on the fact that we're looking at a population of 20,000 and we have all of these unsolved murders and arsons and fires that are undetermined causes, it's like, oh, well, we can't figure out what happened. There's dead people, but we'll just move on. I hate to sound so cold and callous, but that's exactly how it feels. Thank you, Daisy, for posting. Kiana, Kiara, Cariel, Kiani, and Abby and Libby. I mean, it's just crazy to me. It's just crazy. So anyway, we're going to keep fighting, and we're going to keep fighting for Flora. We are going to keep fighting every single day. Doug Carter told us when he spoke to the killer in the 2019 press conference, he spoke directly to him. He said, "And to the killer, we believe you are hiding in plain sight. You may even be in this room. And we also believe that this person is from Delphi. Many serial killers hide in plain sight within the communities where they live, where they work, and where they operate." That's just fact. Many of them are not reclusive. In fact, the majority of them are not reclusive. They're not social misfits who just live alone. And I've said it before, they are not these monsters that hide in the shadows. They're the guy that you talk across your fence with and have a cup of coffee with, or you're outside on your porch and having a beer or whatever, and they come, it's your next door neighbor, and they come over and have a beer with you, or you sit next to them at church on Sunday, or you work with them at the factory, on the line, they're next to you, or whatever it is. They're not these strange, weird people. Most of them appear very normal. And I think that is hard for all of us to wrap our heads around. And I think that that's one of the things that makes all of these cases that we cover so hard for us to understand and grapple with, because we're constantly asking ourselves how and why and who could do something like this. We are never going to totally understand because we're normal. And we wouldn't be able to do that. We wouldn't be able to act that way. And these people are frightening because they can completely fly under the radar to where law enforcement and their neighbors and their family and their friends have no idea. Yes, Rosewood, exactly. BTK, just like BTK. They often have families. They're gainfully employed. They're members of their communities, whether they're, be on their church board or sit on the city council, whatever. These people have normal lives. And because they can hide so effortlessly, they're oftentimes overlooked. And that is frightening. Most serial killers operate in intrastate, inside the state they live in. There is only 25% of them studied who operated in other states or multiple states. And those did that because they either lived adjacent to a state, like on a border, or they were employed in occupations that took them to other states. So that's something to consider as well. And I know we've talked about Delphi. We've talked about how, people have talked about who is a serial killer, who is the person who has done these horrific acts in this county area that we're talking about in Carroll County and the 6 counties surrounding area. Who could this person possibly be? And we have to remember that most of these people don't have transitory lifestyles. They just don't. They don't move from area to area. It's very unusual for serial killers to do that. They have very defined geographic areas where they operate in. I hate to say that, but that's what they do. I don't like to even say hunt. Good night, Chris. Thank you so much for dropping by. They do conduct their killings within a comfort zone that are often defined by where they live. And again, that's BTK. I mean, he actually committed a murder a door or 2 doors down from where he lived. So, I mean, that's pretty bold. And let's see. Most serial killers, 78.3%, have an arrest record. And of those arrest records, 12.9% is for assault and battery. Theft is 10.6%. Sex-related offenses is 9%. Burglary is 8%. And drug offenses is 6.22%. So most of them have a burglary and sex offense are the most common among serial murderers. Breaking and entering, we talked about that. A lot of times these guys start out breaking and entering. And one of the things that I brought up in a few lives a month or so ago was about all of the burglaries in Carroll County. It is unbelievable. So breaking and entering and burglary is like a step up to what these guys end up doing. They start out that way. They start out that easy way, whatever, and then it's not enough, and they move up. 34% of serial killers have served in the United States military in some fashion. 30% are married. So 75% of these offenders have some type of stressor at some point prior to or during their series of murders. And that could be a divorce. It could be losing a job. It could be alcohol related, drug related. There's some sort of a stressor that comes with it. The stressors that they have are diverse. 24% of them abuse alcohol or drugs. 17% have legal or money difficulties. The number one motivation for serial killers killing is sex. It's 81.5%. And profit is 5%, and anger is 3.1%. Mental illness is only 1.3%. Unknown reasons are 3.5%, and other reasons is 5.6%. And the 5.6%, the other reason, is witness elimination or murder for hire. Prior to arresting the serial killers, 32.6% of offenders have been formally diagnosed with a psychiatric disorder. 42.9% have personality disorder. 19% have a psychotic disorder, and developmental disorders are 11.9%. The rate of diagnostic psychiatric disorders, the 32.6%, is higher than the rates quoted for the general population. So yeah, these people have personality issues. They have psychiatric issues, most definitely. Mood disorders, bipolar, depression, schizophrenia, major depressive disorder. There's just all different kinds of things. And I think it's very telling to think about these guys and how they operate. And the more you realize how they operate, it helps us to understand a little better of what's going on here with KAK and Kline, and with some of these people that have been talked about as being possible POIs or suspects in the Delphi case, because we have to be able to determine, and we're not psychiatrists, we can't determine what their psychological makeup is or whatever. But I'm just saying that I think that, yeah, there's issues there sometimes that we need to be careful trying to say whether or not these people have these. But if we know they do, then that's just another tick on the box. We can just go ahead and tick that box. The number one way that serial killers get their victim, to gain access to their victims, are through a ruse and a con. That is the number one way. It's just the primary way. They can also use a blitz and a surprise, and it's usually a ruse and a con. And I think we already know that that's what happened to Libby and Abby. So I just think that there's a lot about serial killers that we can glean from the behavioral science unit reading their documents and reading their literature. They've done so much studying of these guys that we can really, it's just crazy. So one of the things that I felt last night when I was watching, what's his name? I'm sorry, Tom Webster. And I'm going to link his channel in the description box below, about one of the reasons that he did his 4-hour uptake on Delphi, basically, and did a whole bunch of information. It is absolutely worth, I said this on Tuesday night, you guys, please go watch it, because he has gotten probably the most in-depth information that I've seen on Delphi in a long time. He has a lot of intricate information, and he does it in a way that's really easily, it's like bullet pointed, so it's really interesting. And that's, I mean, I think that's really what it is. And to see how Michelle can talk about this. Michelle Nicholas, one of my mods out there, she's a crime scene investigator. So she can speak to how these guys operate, and how we can make a list and check off the boxes, because that's what you have to do. You have to go in and find what is their, what's the motive? What's the, do we have motive? Can we figure out what motive is? All of those things. It's really interesting to see. Hold on a second. Somebody just messaged me. Just a minute. So, anyway, oh, okay, I missed her leaving. No problem. I'll talk to her after. I'll talk to her later. Let's see. She is, Michelle is wonderful. She's really given us a lot of good, she's really gotten, how do I want to say it? Double Rainbows, Tom Webster. If somebody could put Tom Webster's channel in the chat for me, that would be great. One of my mods could do that. Look it up for me. But I am going to put it in the description box below, my live stream, so you guys can look it up there. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but yeah, I do know that the Marathon gas station was searched. Yes, we talked about that at the very beginning of the show. But yeah, I am aware of that. He's extremely smart, and he's very straightforward with his information. So yeah, I do like Tom a lot, and he is funny how he puts out his information as well. It's interesting. But I wanted to talk a little bit before I got out of here tonight. I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the stuff that I've seen over on Reddit. And I'm going to show this. Hold on a second. I think this is. So this was one of the, and I can't find the page, but this is from the document, the Kagan Kline interrogation document that's like 196 pages long. And Vito says, okay, just like, again, it's a fact that you're communicating to her, speaking of Libby, multiple days at a time, just like other girls that you were talking to, including up to the day that she went missing, right before. And what I have to know is you would communicate with her on what? The iPhone 5 was your primary device, right? And he says, yes. That's a fact. Okay, what other devices would you communicate with her on? I don't know. I have no clue of even talking to. What other devices would you communicate with anybody else on at that time? And he said, iPhone. And he said, yes. And he said, well, on February the 13th, this would have been logged in a little bit earlier. So that would have been 8 o'clock in the morning at your house. Okay. Where you and your dad lived. 2 separate devices. See the numbers here, how they are the same. Log in, log out, log in, log out. One device. Log in, log out. All within minutes of each other. To the same Anthony Shots Snapchat account. What 2 devices were these? These here, this, sir, is a fact. And he points it right out to Kagan and blows Kagan right out of the water because Kagan just says, I don't know. So it's like, I don't know. I just think it's interesting how things get blown out of the water with information around Delphi. We have this document and it's right plain in front of us. And we have all of this information and people run with certain things of it and other things they just overlook. And to me, this is huge because they're trying to tell him something here that 2 people were using devices and the same Snapchat account to talk to Libby the day that she was murdered. And bottom line, that's all that is. That's all that they were trying to tell him there. And oh Lord, double rainbows. I just saw you post that. No, don't be giving out your personal information. Please, please don't do that. That is not good. Just one second, guys. So, yeah, please make sure that you guys, I know it is, Pam, I agree, but I keep saying, go back and read, go back and read these documents and look at them because you're going to get a lot of information. And it's so true about, I like Molly, confirmation bias. Everyone needs to. Every one of us. It's just amazing. And in this case, I am floored by the number of people who have stuck with a POI, and no matter what information comes out, or points to something, they absolutely won't look at it, or they say it doesn't matter. It doesn't have anything to do with this case. So, and what was it that so there in law, Steve said, in the law enforcement world, that is a fact, is used, when used, is a fact. When they're pointing that out to him and saying, this, sir, is a fact, that's a fact, Jack. As we used to say in the olden days. But I just hold on a second. You guys are, I'm trying to think, and you guys are talking, and I want to get into this chat. It is, we did get information overload, and it some of it has been so mind-boggling, to say the least. It helps to go back over it and just kind of look at it and dissect it. And Allie says, I'm grateful that's not something that they may be being dishonest about. I hate to look at it that way, but things just don't add up to me. Because I know people talk about this so much and they say that there's a lot of lying that goes on in interrogations. I guarantee you they are not going to lie about stuff where they're trying to get an answer out of him, where a defense attorney can go back in court and say something to the effect of, well, that's going to get thrown out because you did this or you lied or whatever. They're not going to risk that when they're trying to get information from someone that they want to roll on someone or talk about what they know. I think they're going to be very, very careful about it, in my opinion. Now, Steve would probably be able to talk better about that, but I firmly believe not as much lying goes on as everybody would like us to believe. I just wanted, like I said, to go over that. It's the same, going over the stuff about serial killers is kind of like the same thing of when I was going over grand jury and grand jury testimony in the state of Indiana. And if you guys haven't seen my live stream on that, I really would suggest you to go back and watch it, because I was thinking the other day, and I forgot to mention this on Tuesday night, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit tonight with you, is I do believe that there could be very well a sitting grand jury right now on the Delphi murders. And somebody wanted to know, well, why would they take Kagan into custody? They would take Kagan into custody if he was being called in to testify before a grand jury. Thank you, Steve. Makes me feel better. So yeah, guys, they could have taken Kagan Kline into custody, ISP, to take him to testify before a grand jury. So remember that. There are so many things that could be happening in this case that we don't know. Grand juries are secret for a reason. We're never going to know if there is a grand jury seated in this case until the grand jury would come back with an indictment. So just remember that that's a possibility. And I still don't believe they took him out of jail to go sloshing around a river to point where he threw something, when it's very possible to do that on a map. I just absolutely do not think that's it. For me, it's grand jury testimony. Now, why would they have Kagan go testify before a grand jury? Wouldn't they go have him testify before a grand jury if Kagan was going to be testifying about someone else? Not himself, but someone else. So all of those things need to be thought about and taken into consideration when we are looking at this case. And just keep that in mind, you guys, as you go about your day. And we all want it solved. We all want the good things to happen for this case and all the others that we cover. I love so much that you guys are all invested with me in with Flora and with Delphi and all the other cases that we cover in Behind the Crime Door, but which I will be venturing out on other cases. I promise that that's going to happen. But it's really hard when you start really looking at a case like we have with these. You can't do that deep dive with so many at a time. You just can't. It's just too much. And I don't know. I think that Las Vegas is going to prove to be a lot more interesting than we may think that it is. I agree with you, Wade. I do agree with you on that they will use a field trip as an incentive to get information. I absolutely agree with you on that. But I really, really think more about the whole possibility of it being a grand jury seated. And so I don't know how they do that anymore, digital, with grand juries. I don't know if they allow those to be done, if that testimony can be done technology-wise or not. I don't. I would think that that testimony has to be done in person. There would have to be an extenuating circumstance for them not to bring that person to the court for that testimony before the grand jury. They do it, I know, with children and things like that or whatever, but for just somebody like Kagan, I just can't see them doing that, but who knows? I know there was a lot going on in the chat earlier. I'm going to have to go back and kind of read what was going on in here. I hope that everybody was being respectful to each other. And that we didn't have any major things going on tonight, you guys. Just remember the rules of my channel. When people come in here, if you recognize them or whatever from somewhere else, and you may have an idea about things or whatever, please treat them with respect, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure what was going on with Crime Geek in here. And everybody, I think a lot of people know who she is, but she's a friend of mine, and I want her treated with respect when she's in here. And not, don't drill people and ask people all kinds of questions about things that we shouldn't be asking them. That's all I'm going to say on that subject. So, I do think good. I'm very glad that you guys have all been good, because that's what I like to see. I like to see that. And that's all I'm saying, is just be respectful of one another, and stop and think before you ask questions of someone or make comments about something. I just want everyone to be nice to her, and please. She's super sweet. She's a very, very nice person. And I just want this to be a safe space for her. So, but yeah, I think that there's A lot going on. Like I said, I'm really surprised they're searching on land now. They've decided that they're not just looking in the water anymore. So there's a lot going on with the case, and I think that there's a lot more going on than we really truly imagine. And we just have to stay vigilant, and try to keep moving on with everything. There's a lot of information out there, you guys, that you can go and read on and find. I try to bring good information into the chat every week. When I do my live streams, I want to bring things to you that are going to help you better understand and also help the case along. I do like to stick to facts. I'm a facts-based channel. I think you all know that. There's nothing wrong with us speculating and talking about things like that, but we have to be careful when we are speculating and keep it within a realm of not too crazy and going overboard. I will say that I do think that that is extremely interesting to me that True Crime Investigates channel is no longer active. It has been removed. I think that there is a lot of things happening on the YouTube platform with some of the channels that have been not so kind to family members. I think there's a lot going on there. That makes me happy because you guys know how I feel about that. If you guys are in a channel or you go to a chat and watch a live and you see something that's wrong or absolutely appalls you, please report it to YouTube. We can only do what we can do, and to just shy away from it or turn your head the other way and act like it's not something, all that does is allow that channel to continue to operate and do things that they may not or should not be doing. So please, use that. That's what YouTube has it out there for. And they need our help just like they do anyone else's when it comes to policing the platform. And they have their rules just like I have mine, and we need to follow those. And I want to just say, if any of the family is watching, my heart goes out to all of you and what you have to put up with. I hope beyond hope that I don't make it more difficult for you, because that is not my intent. I definitely and absolutely am in this for all the right reasons. I want justice for Abby and Libby. I want justice for the Flora 4 girls. I want justice. And that is a huge question, Judy, for another live. That is a huge question. I've been asked that a few times today, and all I'm going to say is that is for another live. Thank you so much, you guys. I am not in this for notoriety or clout. I'm not. No, they cannot, Daisy. They cannot see who reports. They will never know. When you report a channel, they will never know. So, I just, I just feel like it's time for people to stand up and use our voices, because we have to be voices for the voiceless. And that's where I'm at. And True Crime Maria knows me. She knows that I'm going to say it. If I'm going to, put it out there, I think that there's a lot of stuff that people aren't aware of. And if you want to know about certain people or whatever, all you have to do is go looking. And my case in Indiana, there's my cases in many states, but my case in Indiana has all the information that you need to know on the people that we talk about in these chats. Thank you, Jennifer. Please remove them if they did, because I don't want people to be doxing others. I just don't. We don't use names like that because, I don't want anything to happen to them. And it is really hard. It's really hard, Molly. I so and absolutely understand where you're coming from, because I was on YouTube before I ever started a channel, and I've been there. I know what it's like. You get sucked in and you think that you're with a channel that means well, and then you come to find out that not at all. And yeah. Digital, you are funny. That made me laugh. You are funny. But anyway, guys, I'm going to head out of here before I completely lose my voice and start coughing. I hope that you guys all have a great Friday. Enjoy yourselves. And I will see you on Saturday night. Please make sure that you turn in to Steve from True Crime Web, who's going to be a guest on Allie, excuse me, Allie's channel on Saturday night. And because I'm sure that's going to be a tremendous show. And it is, Steve. How sad is it to lead a life that you need to destroy those who are grieving, that you need to hurt others who are grieving, that you have to put out information that is so far beyond being truthful. It's just insane. I don't understand it, and I never will. Hi, Mike. How are you? It's so good to see you. And one of the things that I do in this channel and in this chat is that I tell people we don't bash other channels here. We just don't, because that's not who I am. And I don't feel that that's right, but I'm going to speak up. It looks like we're going to start getting trolled now. So it's probably a good time for me to get off, because we are being trolled. I can't tell if that person is, I can't tell you guys. Can anybody see that picture? I can't tell if that is a, yeah, but no, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, because I think they were, yeah, we're just, right now we're being trolled. Anyway, guys, somebody is upset because I'm pro family, but you know what? Too bad. It's the ones that are coming in with the naked pictures as their picture. If you guys remember, that's why when I do my drawings, I can't put the drawing actually happening, because that'll get my channel shut down. It's like, oh, Mrs. Steve, you go, girl. Those trolls, I'm here to tell you, I've had enough of them. So, all right. Well, tonight we're not going to have a drawing. I will do 2 drawings on Saturday. And Saturday I will have my Flora wristbands. They should be here. So I will be giving away Delphi and Flora bands. So I hope you guys will be back for that. And I will plan on seeing you on Saturday Everybody have a good night. I appreciate all of you. Please like and share my video. That helps me more than anything. And make sure that you hit the bell so that you know when I go live next. Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here.